Folks, I wish I were kidding when I said that this video was almost late because I got way too distracted playing today's project. For fun. Like, not even bug testing, just for fun. And you know what? I'm gonna unleash this beast on the world. But first, let's talk about it. Now, it's a simple, I guess, placement puzzle game. I don't know if there's an official name, but it's literally just to fit all the pieces onto the grid and you win. Well, it's most interesting, at least to me, and it was part of the reason that I wanted to work on this, was the fact that these pieces, they're not actual objects. Well, they're kind of objects, but not. And there's a reason for this. See, each puzzle is randomly generated. Everything from the puzzle pieces themselves to the size of the game board changes with each round. And normally this would be a major pain in the butt to do with, actual objects. Like, you're probably thinking about it right now. How do you choose which pieces to use? Do you just force them all in, choosing at random and hoping that they all eventually fit? Well, actually, no. Well, I mean, I guess you could do it that way, but there are better ways. See, recently, while I was doing some research on another subject, I learned about something called amoeba generation. I don't know the official name, but the closest I found is something called the nelder-mead method. Regardless of what it may be called, long story short, you give something a starting position and you let it grow to a certain size at random. Like, imagine that our grid is like a petri dish. Each amoeba grows in that petri dish from starting at 1 tile and continuing until it grows into 4. I went with 4 because it just felt like a nice solid number to build puzzles around. It just so happened to also result in the shapes used in Tetris. So each amoeba, after growing to 4 tiles, becomes one of our puzzle pieces. Those amoebas are then saved as a, quote-unquote shape object, which is actually a struct. It's the concept of a shape, which is then used as part of the game itself. Once each piece has been made and our board has been filled, the pieces are tossed and shuffled around the game space. And from here, it's pretty standard puzzle controls. When a player clicks the left mouse button, we do a couple of checks. So if we're not holding anything, we grab a piece if hovered over one, else we can place the piece back down. And when a piece is, quote-unquote placed, we check if it's on the grid. If we're on the grid and there is space, the piece is snapped into place and recorded for our grid check. And finally, if each piece has been placed on the grid and all spaces have been filled, that must mean that the player was successful. Thus, the game is won and the player gets to celebrate with some rolling colors and star doodles. And really, that's the gameplay loop. It's deceptively simple, and yet from a technical standpoint was fascinating to figure out. And from a player standpoint, it was like candy. Like, the dopamine hits from just finally figuring out how each piece fits into a grid is just chef's kiss. And again, it is legit why I'm behind on a couple of projects, because there were just several moments of just getting lost in puzzle after puzzle. Which brings me back to that thread from the start. I am in fact unleashing this one onto the world so that you too may be consumed by the monster that I have created. I've put a version up on Patreon which can be downloaded right now for the appropriate tiers, but to be honest, I would love to create a more fleshed out version with more features and actually do a full release of this thing. Like, no joke. So if you're already a patron, give it a try and let me know what you think. If you're not already a patron, consider becoming one to get access to this and a ton of my other previous releases as well as other delicious goodies. And either way, I would love to know what other features would make this a must-buy/download for you. Obviously, if these type of puzzles are your thing. Like, I'm not planning to turn this into an action roguelike is all I'm saying, But I am, curious to see if a full release thing could be even possible, and more importantly, if it's even worth pursuing. So be sure to share your thoughts and ideas in the comments. While you're at it, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, and why not subscribe if you're new to the channel. With that said, this has been Dev Diary, the series where I try to make my own video games and sometimes create addictive monsters. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.